for joining us again. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Melanie Molenaar, Principal Interior Designer, to present Use of Color Interior Design and Inspiration in Lifestyle Products. Welcome, Melanie. The stage is yours.
Thank you. Thanks again. Thank you, Global Sources, for inviting me again to this prestigious event. And I'm so excited to be back again. And today I'm going to be sharing a fun, creative, and inspiring topic called The Wonderful World of Color, and how we use color for inspiration in interior design and lifestyle products. Well, as you know, lifestyle products, we're surrounded by lifestyle products in our everyday lives, such as home decor, electronic devices, cosmetics, clothing, fashion. The whole world is color. And as you know, we use these products to fit in with a specific culture and lifestyle, whether it be luxurious, whether it be a motor car. Everything is chosen unconsciously or consciously by a color. But before we dive in, let's just take a minute to focus on this beautiful vision of a sunset. Okay, you might think, well, why are we watching a sunset in this auditorium and we're surrounded by so many things? But I want you just to take a minute to look at this beautiful capture of a sunrise. This, you see, if we can just visualize and sit quietly, we visualize the changing colors from dark blues to violets, to yellows, to oranges, and then all of a sudden, at daybreak, we have these beautiful soft pinks and baby blues. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the nature and origin of color. To truly understand the mechanics of color and how and why we choose to integrate particular colors into our lifestyle and our purchases, we need to understand the origins of our magnificent color spectrum. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is nature. All color actually originates from nature, as you can see, and provides us with the most sublime color spectrum, all the colors of the rainbow, and therefore inspiration for the creation of some of the world's most beautiful interior spaces, buildings, and lifestyle products. So, having said that, we have to understand that color is all sensory. Remember, everything in life is energy. Color is energy. And if it's energy, it has a vibration. And color reacts to, as human beings, our personal vibration. And this is why we choose particular colors when we purchase an item, when we choose colors for our home. This is the intrinsic nature of color. Color is highly sensory. Just take a look at this is a standard color wheel, and on your right you have your color palette. So just take a look, for example, and as human beings, you know, we all experience color quite differently. In fact, men and women have a totally different sense of color altogether. So your red might be your partner's pink, and vice versa. So I think that's when the complications come into the relationship. We all have our own internal, personal color spectrum. Have you ever walked into a room and thought, oh my goodness, it feels so uncomfortable? And your friend walks into the same room and says, wow, this is fantastic. Well, that's color. That's the power of color. Now, have you ever walked into a sales room to select a particular paint color? And the sales assistant hands you your color palette and says, which color would you like? I mean, this is total overwhelm. But this is the power of color. It all has a tremendous effect from our visuals to our sensory motives. So as an interior designer, I'm often confronted with a response from a client. I love color, but I just don't know how to use it. Well, as I said, this is the power of color, and it's all connected to our emotion. As you can see, color impacts our daily lives, from the products we purchase. Have you ever purchased something because you were drawn to the actual pretty pink packaging on the outside, but you purchased it anyway? This is the power of color. As I mentioned, color ignites a feeling, and feeling creates a mood, and the mood creates an emotion. And going back, it is all connected to nature. So the power of color is undeniable, connected to nature, which is part of our intrinsic environment. So how do we break this all down into something simple that we can all relate to from a novice point of view, and something that's simple and tangible? We can walk in and say, yes, I like that color and I want to use it. So how do we break through that barrier of purchasing a sofa in bright green? We really like the color bright green, but, well, we don't know how to use it. I'm not going to go into color theory and how to balance colors, etc., because that's going to take a lot of time. But I'm going to show you 5 simple examples on how to approach color and the use of color. Remember, we all have our own internal color spectrum. So just for example, take for example this monochromatic interior scenario. This is a monochromatic example, which you call monochrome interiors. A monochrome interiors is built on one single color. So you can see in the image, you've got a monochrome scenario of blues. So we break this down into hues, tones, shades, and tints. So that's quite easy to navigate through the whole process of the interior design. So the dominant color here, your base color, in this instance, is the color blue. The tones are the more muted versions of your base color. The shades are a little bit darker, still of your base color. And then, of course, your tint, which is often form the exterior or the interior shell, as it were. And I'm referring to your walls, the color of your walls, or the color of your ceiling. Those are usually, it's a safe way to follow, and that's the way to go for monochromatic schemes. So, in other words, your base, your neutral shade forms the shell of the interior, which might be a very light tint of blue, and then you add your base color, which would be the very strong blue, and then you just kind of break it down into all the components. Your curtaining, which will be in a shade of blue. Your scatter cushions on the bed would be in tones of blue, which is, as I said, the more muted versions of your base color. So another example, for example, if you love the color red, here we've used your, the dominant color is red, and you've got your tones, your shades, and your tints. If you have a look just carefully at this image, you'll see your base color is crimson red, and then you move on to your tones and your shades. If you have a look at the wall unit, you'll see that's in a soft shade of pink. So that would be your tint. Yeah, so that's how it works. And then if you just look at it again, you'll see the shell of the room is in a very muted, neutral shade, whether it be white or it could be a muted shade of red. You know, it's a lot of red with a lot of white mixture. Another good and easy example to introduce color and to work with color is working with neutrals. A neutral palette is the easiest palette to work with because there is less intensity. You can see from this image, it's very muted, it's quiet, and somehow dramatic in a way. The interior designer has used colors of ivory, white, black, and grey. So just to bring all of this together, that's what we call a neutral scenario. Very restful. And then what's also interesting, just to have a little bit of color, he's added a deep tan, or it could be a red, in the accessories and in the artwork. You'll notice that there's a touch of tan, beige, deep tan, deep browns, just to give it that little bit of depth. And that's another easy way to work with color. Example 3. Now, this is quite a complex one, but I'll just take you through the process. Accents, I'm sure you've heard of the term pops of color and contrasts. These are colors that are contrasting or complementary colors used for emphasis, enhancement, to liven up a place, that is, pops of color here and there, and also to add a little bit of drama, as you were, in deep contrasting shades. Now, the base to using accent colors and pops of color is to have, again, a neutral shell. It's non-confrontational, and it's easy to kind of implement through the whole process. So I'm just giving an example of this design proposal I created for a Hong Kong client of mine. So firstly, we introduced 2 colors as accent or contrast color, or for pop art colors. So these 2 colors, and they're on completely different ranges of the color spectrum. We used French navy blue and salmon pink, as you can see. So our French navy blue came in as the contrasting color to create a little bit of drama, and the salmon pink was brought in as an accent color, just to create that little pop of color. And then in the clients, we had a range of artwork. So we were able to draw inspiration from the colors of the artwork. And that's how we came to use the French navy blue and the salmon pink. Now, what we also did was we painted the entrance to the apartment in the deep French navy blue, which created quite a dramatic entrance to a rather dull, small Hong Kong apartment. And so it was quite exciting, and it was quite interesting to see the combinations of color, but still coming together quite happily. Right. Now, this is a very interesting way to use color. Have any of you heard the term maximalism? Now, maximalism is the total opposite of what we call minimalism. Maximalism, as you can see from the images, more is more, as opposed to minimalism, which is less is more. Okay? So, as you can see in the images, more is more. There is an excess of detail. There is an excess of color, whatever color. Bright yellows, pinks, browns, blacks, whites, in different patterns, different colors, all but just happily coming together. And you'll also note from the image, the shell of the interior of the room is in a darker shade. So working with maximalism, one has to be pretty brave and just take the step and dive right in and say, I love pink, I love red, I love yellow, and I just want to use everything together. So this is the way to do it. So here again, another example of maximalism. And also in the lifestyle products, you see the lamp base and the lampshade in bright contrasting colors of oranges and reds, scatter cushions in bright pinks, the ottoman in bright orange, the home appliance in bright orange, the WC in different patterns, contrast of reds and whites, and of course, the artwork. Anything goes, anything that's, and I say that because remember, we all have our own internal color spectrum. I also want to just speak briefly about metallics. You know, it's quite a diverse subject. How do we include metallics into our environment? We use metallics very sparingly. So, because you don't want to actually end up with a disco ball in your living room. You know, everything, remember, metallics is incredibly reflective. So, and here I would suggest preferably use accents only as lamp bases, a vase, picture frames, your side tables. And it works well, surprisingly, in most maximalistic interiors. So, and there you have it, folks. I wanted to actually include this because this is Iris Apfel. I don't know if any one of you have heard of her. She's actually the style queen of color. And sadly, she passed away last month at the age of 102. She was the epitome of wearing color. However, she would wear yellows, bright yellows, dressed with beads of reds and blues, eyeglass frames in bright blue with her pink suit. And this is how she lived her life. And again, I'm referring to, we all have our own internal color spectrum. So what I would say is own your own internal color spectrum and use it to the fullest, as Iris Apfel did. And just be bold, be brave, embrace it, and use your own color sense to the fullest. Thank you.
Thank you, Melanie, for your sharing, as well as the example on the color using of interior design and how it will affect our lifestyle. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And now we will have time for a Q&A session. So if you have any question, please raise your hand.
Thank you. I would like to ask you two questions.
Yes.
The first one, if and only if. So in Hong Kong, if I have a new or brand new, big, brand new shopping mall in the high-class residential area in Hong Kong,
Yes.
and this will open soon, maybe 2 years later, and so on. And then, what colors do you suggest in order to attract the maximum flow, the pedestrian flow, in order to earn more money?
It's in a high-end, luxury
High-class residential areas,
shopping mall.
shopping mall.
Right. What is the nature of the restaurant?
I mean, the nature is to attract a lot of pedestrians. For example, they have the brands Chanel and so on. The top brands of every fashions and so on.
Yes.
And then the purpose is to attract more pedestrians, okay? And what colors do you suggest so as to attract more pedestrians? It is brand new, not known to Hong Kong yet.
Right.
So it's important to attract more new customers there.
Absolutely. So what type of restaurant is this going to be for a start?
Not restaurants.
It's not
it's
a
the second question.
Oh, I
The
see.
shopping mall, okay.
It's a shopping mall.
The top fashions.
Okay. As-
For each article, it may sell maybe over $10,000.
Yes. So we're looking at shopfront design.
Yeah.
Right.
What colors do you suggest?
I would suggest it's upmarket. So you're looking at, but the thing is, you're selling different brands. Correct?
Different brands, maybe 100 brands, but all of them are the top brands.
All of the top brands.
And also to
So-
attract tourists and so on.
Right. But you don't want to detract from the selling points of the different shop fronts and the different brands.
No.
So you have to address, I would say, quite muted tones and natural tones.
Natural tone.
Natural tones.
Natural tones.
Yes. Because
what are the advantages of the natural tones? It's so natural. So it may not attract a lot of
and
customers.
also it depends on how you would, it depends on the movement through the mall, the access points through the mall.
May be quite near to the MTR station, maybe.
Right. I would suggest muted tones, natural tones, or even black. Black marble.
Black.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that'll create a contrast of between all the different shop fronts. Because remember, you don't want to detract
Yeah.
the selling points of the
Yeah.
shop fronts, and these are high-end brands. So to distinguish between all the different brands, I would suggest maybe columns in black marble.
Right.
Black is a very powerful color. It emphasizes wealth, and it's pretty high end. But I wouldn't, perhaps an underlying color of orange.
Orange.
Yeah, perhaps orange marble,
Marble.
yellow onyx.
Yellow.
Yellows and oranges always go very well with black.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it means that black is the main color.
Black
It's
is your dominant color.
the dominant color. Okay.
It's your dominant color.
Okay, good. Thank you for the first question.
Thank you.
The second question is that it is also a new, maybe not a restaurant, but similar to that. So that hotel, so it can provide lunch buffet and dinner buffets, and we would like to attract more customers. However, we would like to increase their appetite. So, what colors do you suggest in order to increase the appetite of the customers?
I would go for red.
Red color.
Red color.
So for the walls and so on.
Yes. And
Red
for the
color.
Yeah.
Okay.
And preferably in a reflective paint, which is high gloss
Yeah.
red. So you form this shell of reflection. Red is also quite a powerful color, and it enhances appetite.
Appetite. Yes, good.
So that's very
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for
My
the excellent
pleasure.
answer. Okay. Thank you.